Atlanta has always been known for its drama, but no one could have predicted the wave that hit when Imani, the daughter of Lil Scrappy and Erica Dixon, decided to finally speak up about her stepmother, Bambi. For years, people had guessed that things weren't exactly peaceful between them. Fans noticed the awkwardness during TV appearances, the subtle shade online, and the tension that often showed up at reunion specials. Still, no one truly knew how deep the issue went. Until Imani sat down for an interview with Regina Carter. When she finally spoke, it wasn't quiet or uncertain. It was bold, sharp, and impossible to ignore. What shocked everyone most was how effortlessly she said it. Imani didn't even mention Bambi's name. Instead, she looked directly into the camera, calm but confident, and said, "That lady." Just those 2 words. Then she added, "We don't say the names of people we don't like." The internet went wild. Within hours, the clip spread everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, fans reposting it with captions, edits, and jokes. That lady became more than a phrase. It became a cultural moment. People started putting it in their bios, using it in tweets, and joking about it in comment sections. Even Regina, who's no stranger to viral moments as the daughter of Toya Johnson and Lil Wayne, couldn't help but laugh and play along. She repeated Imani's words with a smile. "All right then, that lady." It was lighthearted on the surface, but underneath, everyone watching could sense a major shift. Imani wasn't just Scrappy and Erica's daughter caught in the middle of old drama anymore. She was her own person. She came across mature, grounded, and sure of herself. That short clip showed that she wasn't afraid to set boundaries and stand on them. What many people didn't realize was that there was a long story behind those few words, a history that explained why they carried so much weight. A few years earlier, Imani had already hinted at tension when she went live on Instagram. During that stream, fans kept bringing up Bambi's name, asking questions she clearly didn't want to answer. Finally, she shut it down. "Stop asking me about my stepmom," she said, visibly annoyed. "Do you see me posting with her? Do you see me around her? No, so stop asking." At the time, a lot of people brushed it off. They thought she was just being a moody teenager who didn't like her stepmom. But now, after hearing her recent interview, it's clear there was a lot more behind that moment. It wasn't teenage attitude. It was self-respect. In her new interview, Imani opened up about why she distanced herself. She said it came down to loyalty and respect. Her voice was calm, not bitter, when she explained, "You disrespected my mama. You disrespected my daddy. And when you disrespect them, you disrespect me." It was simple, but powerful. She wasn't trying to start drama. She was standing up for her family. Her words resonated with people because they showed maturity beyond her years. She was protecting her peace and her parents' names. Social media instantly rallied behind her. Fans flooded her comments calling her real, wise, and emotionally strong. Hashtags like "Sorry That Lady" and "Respect Manny" began trending across platforms. For the first time, people weren't seeing Imani as a child stuck in her parents' complicated relationship. They saw her as a young woman finding her voice and speaking her truth. But of course, in the world of reality TV, silence rarely lasts long. Bambi soon responded, going live on her own page to set the record straight. She claimed that she had been misunderstood and that her problems with Erica Dixon started because of things Imani had supposedly told her about her mother. But instead of clearing the air, that explanation only made things worse. Fans were quick to point out that no adult should ever use a child as justification for conflict with another grown woman. Commenters called it messy and immature, saying that even if Imani had said something in frustration, a responsible adult would have known better than to repeat it or use it as ammo. The more Bambi talked, the more it seemed like she was trying to shift blame instead of taking responsibility. Then came her next move, a diss track. The song included indirect shots at Scrappy and Erica and seemed designed to stir up even more drama. But instead of sparking buzz, it fell flat. Hard. When Imani was asked about it later, she didn't even act bothered. She laughed and said the track only had 11 streams. That one comment set social media on fire. 11 streams became the latest running joke online. People started using it sarcastically anytime someone hyped up a project that clearly didn't take off. With just one playful remark, Imani turned what was supposed to be a comeback attempt into a complete joke. Meanwhile, Scrappy handled everything differently. Instead of jumping into the online chaos, he focused on his music and his business. He stayed busy touring, performing, and connecting with fans. His quiet professionalism didn't go unnoticed. People online praised him for keeping things classy while others were busy throwing shade. Many said he was showing real growth, moving like a man who had learned from past drama. While Bambi seemed caught up in social media arguments, Scrappy was stacking wins and focusing on his goals. The contrast between them was clear, and fans respected it. Then came one of the most heartbreaking parts of Imani's story. During her interview, she revealed that on the night of her prom, a milestone moment every teenager looks forward to, Bambi decided to start more drama online. Instead of letting Imani enjoy her big night, Bambi posted something that stirred up more negativity. Imani said it felt intentional, like an attempt to ruin her moment of happiness. That confession hit people hard. It's one thing to argue with adults online, but targeting a teenager's special day crossed a line. Fans were furious, calling it selfish, unnecessary, and downright cruel. Even people who didn't usually take sides agreed that there are some boundaries you just don't cross, especially when it comes to a child's joy. Erica Dixon, Imani's mom, also spoke up. She went live, but her energy was different. She wasn't yelling or attacking anyone, she was calm and proud. Erica said she couldn't be prouder of her daughter for standing up for herself with maturity and grace. She reminded everyone that Imani grew up in the public eye, surrounded by cameras, gossip, and endless opinions, yet she still managed to stay grounded. Erica said, "Watching her daughter handle the situation so gracefully showed how much strength and growth she'd developed over the years." People started seeing the bigger picture. This wasn't just a family feud spilling online. It was about a young woman learning how to set healthy boundaries after watching adults handle conflict poorly for most of her life. Imani didn't need to curse or drag anyone. All she said was, "That lady." And that was enough. It was short, clean, and incredibly effective. Her silence about Bambi's name said more than a long rant ever could. It showed restraint, intelligence, and a kind of maturity that fans respected. By the time things calmed down, the public had already chosen sides. Some people tried to defend Bambi, saying she might have been acting out of pain or frustration, but most stood with Imani and Erica, agreeing that a teenager shouldn't have to deal with that kind of public mess. The "that lady" moment became more than just a funny quote. It became a symbol of quiet power. It proved that you don't need to shout or get messy to make a statement. Sometimes calm honesty speaks louder than anything else. Atlanta might always have drama, it's part of the culture. But this time, the story felt different. It wasn't just about gossip or shade, it was about growth. Imani showed that she could rise above negativity and handle things with dignity. She didn't just survive the chaos, she mastered it. Her confidence, her loyalty to her family, and her decision to speak truthfully without being disrespectful earned her a new kind of respect. In a city known for its wild storylines, Imani reminded everyone that real power doesn't come from yelling. It comes from knowing who you are and standing firm in it. Erica admitted that her daughter never really had a choice when it came to growing up in the spotlight. From a young age, Imani's life was exposed to the world. Every disagreement, every misunderstanding, and every emotional moment became part of the public conversation. Yet, despite everything she had been through, Erica said she couldn't be prouder of the young woman her daughter had become. Imani had grown into someone strong, graceful, and full of character. She had turned pain into wisdom and learned how to stay calm even when others tried to pull her into chaos. As Erica spoke, the comments under her live were overflowing with love. Fans praised her for the way she had raised Imani, calling her a solid mother who had done her best despite all the challenges. They said it was clear she had taught her daughter self-respect and dignity. For Erica, that moment felt like redemption. For years, she had been labeled bitter, jealous, or difficult whenever she defended herself. But now, the truth was visible for everyone to see. Her daughter wasn't angry or broken. She was mature, loyal, and unafraid to speak her truth. It was a quiet victory for a mother who had spent years misunderstood. Just as the drama seemed to settle, Mama D made her grand entrance, as everyone knew she would. If you know anything about her, you know she loves a moment. With her sharp wit and signature one-liners, she couldn't resist jumping into the conversation. She didn't have to name names. Everyone already knew who she was referring to. With a sly smirk and her confident tone, Mama D hinted that Bambi had never truly fit in with the family, implying that most of what she did was for attention, not out of real love. The internet instantly lit up again. Clips of Mama D's comments started circulating everywhere. Fans reposted her videos, added funny captions, and quoted her punchy lines. What had been a tense family conflict turned into a viral spectacle. People were laughing, sharing memes, and debating who was right and who was wrong. Mama D had once again managed to turn pain into entertainment, something she'd been doing since her first reality TV appearance. But beneath all the laughter and memes, there was something much deeper happening. Imani's story hit people differently because it revealed what it's really like to grow up surrounded by adults who turn real life into public drama. She opened up about how, as a child, she often had to stay silent while others spoke for her. She wasn't allowed to show her emotions or defend herself because every reaction could become a headline or a clip online. Her feelings were turned into storylines for entertainment. Now that she was older, she was done holding it all in. Speaking out wasn't about stirring more drama. It was about finally freeing herself. It was her way of healing. People connected with her honesty on a deep level. They could feel that her words came from experience, not bitterness. Many fans said they saw themselves in her, kids who had grown up watching adults fight and had to pretend everything was fine. Imani's story became bigger than her family. It became a mirror showing what happens when grown people forget that their choices affect their children too. She was speaking for every kid who had been forced to stay quiet while the adults around them told their version of the story. By the time this part of the situation wrapped up, everyone's position was clear. Imani stood tall and unbothered, refusing to fake peace with someone who had disrespected her parents. She didn't backtrack or apologize for setting boundaries. Bambi, on the other hand, looked like she was trying to fix things but only made them worse. Every time she spoke, her explanations sounded more defensive and less believable. Scrappy stayed quiet, focused on his work, his music, and his tours. His calm silence was a reminder that peace is often louder than chaos. Erica, meanwhile, was glowing. Proud, calm, and relieved to see her daughter handling everything with class. And Mama D? She was doing what Mama D does best, sitting on her metaphorical throne, throwing shade, and keeping everyone entertained. But even with the laughter and the jokes, everyone knew this story was far from over. When young people like Imani start speaking out, old lies and carefully built images start to crumble. And in Atlanta, things never fall apart quietly. They explode. The spark that began with one interview quickly grew into a full-blown storm. What started as Imani refusing to say Bambi's name had turned into one of the biggest online feuds of the year. Social media couldn't get enough. Fan pages posted endless edits, reactions, and opinion videos. Comment sections became battlegrounds. Memes, jokes, and remixes of "That Lady" were everywhere. For the first time, the adults weren't the ones controlling the story. Imani, the girl who had once been treated like a background character, was now leading the conversation. She wasn't a bystander anymore. She was the voice everyone wanted to hear. While Imani kept her cool, Bambi was visibly unraveling online. She went live several times trying to explain herself, insisting that she was being misunderstood. Her tone swung between defensive and desperate. She said she never wanted to be the villain, that she'd always tried to have a relationship with Imani, and that everything had been twisted by the internet. But what really damaged her credibility was one particular claim. During one of her live streams, Bambi said that the reason she had issues with Erica was because of things Imani had told her about her mom. She tried to make it sound like she had simply reacted to what she heard, that she wasn't to blame. But that explanation backfired immediately. To the public, it looked like an adult was trying to justify her behavior by dragging a child into grown people's problems. The reaction online was brutal. Comments came flooding in. "Why are you blaming a teenager? Be the adult in the room. You just made yourself look worse." Instead of earning sympathy, Bambi turned more people against her. Every time she tried to explain herself, it felt like she was digging a deeper hole. Her tone came off defensive, her stories inconsistent, and her attempts at damage control only made her look guiltier. Fans started siding with Imani completely, saying it was clear who was acting with maturity and who wasn't. Meanwhile, Scrappy's silence spoke volumes. He didn't post subliminal messages, didn't record diss tracks, and didn't go live to address the situation. He simply focused on his work. Night after night, he was on stage performing, meeting fans, and securing his bag. People noticed the difference. His calm, professional attitude made him look grounded and mature, like someone who had finally learned how to protect his peace. Fans praised him for refusing to let social media drag him back into chaos. The difference between him and Bambi became hard to ignore. She was online, explaining and defending, while he was offline, working and earning. To many people, it was clear. One was feeding the drama, and the other was done with it. Scrappy's silence became a quiet power move, and Bambi's defensiveness became her downfall. Then came the line that changed everything. When Imani was asked about Bambi's diss track, she didn't rant, insult, or even sound angry. She just laughed. "She only got 11 streams," she said with a playful smile. That one sentence ended the conversation. The internet went wild. 11 streams instantly turned into a meme. TikToks popped up overnight. People joked about it in comment sections, and the phrase became a funny way to describe any failed project. Imani's humor turned what could have been negativity into something light and iconic. But behind that laughter was something heavier. When Imani talked about why her feelings toward Bambi ran so deep, she revealed the part that truly hurt her. During her prom week, one of the most memorable moments of any teenager's life, Bambi decided to start more online drama. Instead of letting her enjoy her special night, she stirred up chaos that overshadowed everything. Imani said it felt intentional, like someone was trying to ruin her happiness out of spite. For many people listening, that moment hit hard. Prom is supposed to be a celebration, a night filled with joy and memories. But for Imani, it became another reminder of how messy adult problems had followed her since childhood. It felt unfair, even cruel. The internet agreed. Fans flooded her with love and encouragement, saying she deserved peace, not pain. They called out Bambi for her timing, saying no matter how bad things get, you never mess with a kid's milestone moment. By the time all this played out, the story had clearly turned. Imani was seen as the strong one, the young woman who carried herself with grace while everyone else lost control. Bambi had become the villain in her own story, not because of what others said, but because of her own actions. And through it all, Erica stood tall, watching her daughter handle everything with strength, poise, and maturity. The whole situation was messy, but it also showed how much everyone had grown. Imani wasn't that quiet little girl anymore. She had a voice now, and she was finally using it. She wasn't speaking to stir gossip, but to make it clear that respect matters, timing matters, and family boundaries matter. In a city where drama spreads fast, her calm honesty spoke louder than all the noise. "Prom only happens once," Imani said softly, her voice steady but full of emotion. Instead of enjoying one of the biggest nights of her life, she had to deal with drama that wasn't her fault. Fans immediately understood her pain. They knew how special prom night is, and hearing how it was overshadowed by adult problems made people genuinely feel for her. Many who once defended Bambi started changing their minds. They realized she had gone too far, and this time, there was no excuse that could fix it. Then Erica stepped in, proud and glowing as she watched her daughter handle everything with grace. She went live, smiling from ear to ear, saying how proud she was of Imani for staying strong even while growing up in the public eye. She reminded people that her daughter never asked to be famous. It just came with the family. But despite it all, Imani grew into a respectful, loyal, and grounded young woman. Erica's words weren't just praise for her daughter. They were a quiet, powerful comeback after years of being labeled bitter or jealous. Now the truth was standing right beside her, and it spoke for itself. Fans filled Erica's comments with love and support, calling her an amazing mother and thanking her for raising a daughter strong enough to speak her truth without disrespecting anyone. For Erica, this wasn't just her daughter's victory. It was her own. Then came Mama D with her usual energy and flair for drama. She didn't hold back. She hinted that Bambi was never really part of the family and that most of her actions were for attention, not love. She said the universe was just exposing what people had known all along. Coming from anyone else, those words might have sounded harsh, but from Mama D, they hit differently. Her followers took her words as truth. Within hours, clips of her comments were everywhere, edited with dramatic music and shared across social media. Memes started popping up left and right. Once Mama D spoke, the family feud turned into a full-blown online event. But behind all the laughter and viral moments were deeper emotions. Imani opened up about how, when she was younger, she didn't have a voice. She had to stay quiet, swallow her feelings, and watch adults twist her story for the cameras. She couldn't defend herself or set boundaries. But now, that silence was over. Her choice not to say Bambi's name wasn't about being petty. It was her way of protecting her peace. It was her way of saying, "You don't get access to me anymore." Fans saw real strength in that. They saw a young woman who refused to be dragged into someone else's drama. Her calmness made the grown-ups look small in comparison. Meanwhile, Bambi kept talking in circles, trying to explain herself but only digging a deeper hole. Scrappy stayed quiet, focusing on his music and keeping things professional. Erica was full of pride, watching her daughter finally stand tall and speak her truth. And Mama D? She was in her element, laughing, commenting, and adding her signature spark to the chaos. By the time the dust settled, the lines were clear. The people were on Imani's side. Blogs roasted Bambi nonstop, timelines filled up with horse memes, and 11 streams jokes spread like wildfire. What started as small whispers had turned into a full-on internet storm. And anyone who thought the story was over clearly didn't know Atlanta. Because once secrets start spilling there, they don't stop until everyone's soaked in them. Even after Imani's interview ended, people couldn't let it go. The blogs kept digging up old clips of Bambi shading Erica, videos where she called herself the real wife, or brushed off Imani as just a kid. Those moments didn't age well. Now that everyone had heard Imani's side, those old clips became proof of who was really in the wrong. Comment sections were full of "this didn't age well" jokes and "that lady" references. Fans spammed horse emojis and GIFs, keeping the drama alive in the funniest way possible. Trying to fix her image, Bambi gave one last interview on a smaller platform. She got emotional, offered half-hearted apologies, and tried to sound misunderstood, but it didn't work. Viewers remembered everything: the diss track, the prom situation, and how she dragged a teenager into a grown woman's feud. Most importantly, they remembered how Imani handled herself. With calm honesty and quiet strength, that difference said it all. One woman looked desperate to control the story, while the other looked graceful and strong. The public had made up its mind, and it was clear who they respected more. Then Scrappy spoke up, but in his own way. During one of his shows, he paused mid-performance and told the crowd, "Family over everything. Don't ever let nobody come between you and your kids." The audience went wild. He didn't name anyone, but everyone knew what he meant. That short clip went viral instantly. It showed that sometimes one simple statement can say more than all the online arguments in the world. Erica continued to celebrate quietly. She started posting old photos of her and Imani together, adding captions about loyalty, strength, and surviving tough times. She didn't have to name Bambi. Her message was clear. Fans filled her comments again, showing love and thanking her for raising such a grounded young woman. For Erica, this wasn't just about online clout. It was about reclaiming her story. She was no longer seen as angry or bitter. She was seen as a mother who had been misunderstood for years but was finally vindicated. And of course, Mama D couldn't stay silent. She went live again, holding her signature goblet and saying, "You can't play the queen when you was never royal to begin with." The internet lost it. People begged her to make a full YouTube recap of the feud. Once again, she turned family drama into pure entertainment, reminding everyone why her commentary always steals the spotlight. But beyond all the jokes and chaos, there was something real in what happened. Imani had done more than speak up. She had drawn a line and protected her peace. That lady became more than just a nickname for Bambi. It turned into a symbol of walking away from toxic people and situations. Fans started using the phrase for themselves, posting about leaving fake friends, bad jobs, or toxic relationships, all tagged with "Archie or that lady" as a symbol of self-respect. What started as one young woman's frustration became a cultural moment about power and self-worth. By the end, everyone knew where things stood. Imani had proven she was more than just Scrappy and Erica's daughter. She was her own woman, Strong and wise beyond her years, Scrappy showed maturity and calm leadership. Erica finally got the respect she deserved, and Mama D reminded everyone that she's still the queen of reality TV reactions. As for Bambi, she was left on the outside looking in, a reminder of what happens when you underestimate someone who chooses peace over drama. In Atlanta, secrets never stay buried, and truth doesn't whisper. It roars. And thanks to Imani, that roar was louder than anything that lady could ever record.